it would be massive for the sport. And you talked about Charles Mohanji, of course. Charles Mohanji didn't just win the title; he had personality.
Yeah.
You know, when he was still riding. At that time, rally was at its peak, wasn't it? You had Charles Lubega also racing. There was rivalry at the sport, and these were big characters that made the sport, that drove the popularity of the sport. So I think to return there with this championship would be immense for the sport.
Exactly, yeah.
And as Frank said, I think it's ours to lose.
Oh, yes.
Because we have 2 contenders of the 3 front runners. And it would be massive, not just for rally, but Ugandan sport as a whole. Yeah.
And actually, adding on that point, you don't know how much numbers of fans cross or pay off their money to go and watch these guys far away from borders. And I know you had a nice time in Burundi, as you were telling us. I did have a little bit of a time, nice time viewing those Passoni cars.
There is no rally fan who doesn't know how to have a good time in Uganda.
Yes, exactly. So when you look at the numbers, I think Jas and Yasin really need to give us a thank you by winning that title. They need to. Because many guys have really crossed borders, and still many are planning to cross borders.
Yeah.
That is going to run next in September 22nd to 24th September. Then coming October, we anticipate to have the round in Tanzania.
There's one in Zambia.
Zambia will be playing last
on
the calendar.
Interested.
So that alone is an investment. These guys spend billions of money in their cars. But the illiterate fan or the average fan also spends off their pockets to come and watch these guys. And that alone, to me, I feel it's a reason to smile, a hard way, but because hard way in the way that people spend off to their happiness. Mm-hmm. And so when you have such, Uganda is one of the few countries in Africa that have a population, more so in motorsport, that are ready to spend on to their happiness. You find it in the Kenya who have the leverage of the WRC. You find them not mining.
And Frank was a journalist, and so many years back. And ever since he went to rally, you can tell from his appearance, but he has been spending.
But you spend what you work for.
And he has been moving. But Frank, I wanted to ask you first. You talk about how the fans are crossing the border to support the team and obviously support the riders, the drivers. It means a lot, and it's an investment for the sport and for the federation. And also Charles mentioned that we all know this, that in Uganda motorsport is actually popular, but you know what bothers me most is that the federation has not capitalized on that, you know, take advantage of the fans loving the sport and it being one of the most popular sports in Uganda, and try and develop the sport and obviously, you know, get sponsors and take the sport to the next level.
Answering you straight, the Federation has a number of projects that are looking into to not drop off a fan, but be engaging with the fans. We've started to show that with engaging our fan leaders. That is in our safety. If you saw on the number of safety manners of this sport, we've engaged the fans. One, we know how much they spend, how much they go into loving sport. The unfortunate bit is of our corporate sponsors have not really seen how much this is fetching into their pockets. I can tell you, not lying by statistics, a Pearl of Africa rally fetches over 20,000 attendance of fans. That alone, to me, if I was a corporate manager or a marketing manager in one of the direct product consumers of the sport, that is a fuel company, there was no way I would even give a second here if somebody knocked from motorsport to knock on their door. But we've tried to go into partnership with other respective companies. Say now Uganda Air, they are yet to come big, because Federation does not negotiate alone for its athletes, but they also look at the numbers the sport has. So Uganda Air, they are into talks with the marketing team, hoping they'll give us a best rate, and that best rate we want it to cut across from the athletes to the fans who can manage their way flying into their respective destinies or borders, crossing borders. There was an insurance policy that we entered into, where we said there was a policy we called a cabo, where somebody, a fan, would even leverage on being a fan of motorsport to have a cover, an insurance policy cover through being a fan to motorsport. So many more other things, and as by demand of the National Council Act, that is the National Council MOU that is coming in play, we so much want to be engaging with the fans, the sport supporters. We are going region by region. One, some who will be interested in manning the sport or doing administration for the sport will be